Welcome to the STRATEGENCE Beyond the Data. Today we're exploring the architecture that's supposed to save enterprise AI, specifically in the high-stakes world of market research. We're talking about RAG, short for Retrieval Augmented Generation.
Often simply called RAG, it has become a foundational promise for enterprise AI systems. And for market research, the potential seems massive. It is, think about it. Ending AI hallucinations, speeding up insight generation from weeks down to hours, and finally unlocking decades of accumulated knowledge. Exactly, PowerPoint decks, PDF reports, data tables, tracker studies, all of it sitting in archives. The promise is compelling. Instant, grounded answers from your own body of knowledge. But here's the challenge we saw in the source material. Many organizations are rushing RAG implementations, and they are not delivering trusted results. It's a classic case of expectations meeting reality. The simplest approach, uploading thousands of documents into a vector database and connecting it to a large language model, often falls short. You may improve search, but you don't improve reasoning. And that distinction is critical. Searching versus reasoning. When you're making million-dollar decisions, a confident but untraceable answer isn't just unhelpful, it's dangerous. So today we're breaking down the three architectures: vector RAG, graph RAG, and hybrid RAG. Vector RAG is where most teams start. It's fast and conceptually simple. It relies on dense numerical embeddings and similarity search. Each piece of text becomes a coordinate in a high-dimensional map of meaning. When you ask a question, the system finds the closest mathematical matches and sends those passages to the large language model. This is powerful for thematic retrieval. For example, finding every mention of Gen Z sentiment towards sustainable packaging across dozens of reports. But here's the limitation: context fragmentation. Vector RAG breaks documents into isolated chunks. It strips away relationships between brands, competitors, metrics, methodologies, and time periods. Can't the model infer those relationships? It tries, but it's a gamble. The value of research lies in explicit connections, not inferred guesses. So those links disappear, or become too weak to follow reliably. That's why vector RAG struggles with synthesis and multi-document reasoning. It lacks a global view. And that's when hallucinations occur. Confident guesses without structural grounding. So graph RAG addresses this? Exactly. Graph RAG organizes information into a knowledge graph made of nodes and edges. What does that look like in a market research context? Nodes are entities: brands, studies, metrics, segments. Edges are relationships like competes with, measured by, and derived from. So structure is preserved. Yes, relationships are encoded up front, giving the model verified context. That enables multi-hop reasoning. Exactly. The system can follow step-by-step logical paths and generate explainable insights. But market research data is inherently hybrid. Structured tables inside unstructured reports, qualitative and quantitative methods together. Which brings us to hybrid RAG. Hybrid RAG combines vector speed with graph reasoning. Vector search identifies relevant content. Graph reasoning validates relationships, so hallucinations are reduced. Yes, structure enforces consistency and keeps metrics tied to the correct methodologies. This connects to what Dr. Fei-Fei Li, the godmother of AI, has said about large language models. She reminds us that large language models are next token prediction systems. They generate language, not understanding. RAG constrains that creativity, but incomplete RAG still leaves gaps. Graph RAG constrains how facts connect. But even hybrid RAG isn't enough. That's where continuous evaluations come in. Hybrid RAG plus continuous evaluations form what we call the RAGE framework. Why must evaluations be continuous? Because research changes, new studies launch, trackers evolve, methods shift, so evaluations prevent drift. They enforce grounding, catch errors early, and create an audit trail. So what does this mean for insight leaders? The future isn't about speed. It's about explainability, validation, and trust. That's decision guidance. Exactly. Moving from static reports to systems that actively support decisions. That aligns with the 3D shift: distribution, delivery, and development. Which brings us to a final question. If you can't see the logical path behind an insight, how confident should you be acting on it? Architecture determines trust. And trust is what matters when the stakes are high and millions are on the line in executing a business strategy informed by market research.
Well, that wraps up another episode of STRATEGENCE Beyond the Data. Until next time, keep raging. That's Retrieval Augmented Generation plus evaluations.